don't be fooled. The rest of the car isn't going to look like this. So in this video, I finished tacking in the Firewall and put the front suspension together. Like I've mentioned before, this isn't going to be a show car, but I like to keep my suspension parts and stuff, chassis parts, clean and painted because I drive my cars a lot, and when I have to work on them, I don't want to have to deal with rusty bolts. So the cleaner it is, the easier it is to work on. Now let's get to work. So I'm trying to get the Firewall in here, and I've run into a little bit of an issue. There's this square brace here that runs underneath the gas tank. And then we've got the convertible bracing right here. And I've got this triangle shaped piece on the Firewall that I need to try to fit in between those two. And it looks like my solution might have to be to pull the convertible bracing out, but I don't really want to do that because that's the only thing that's keeping the car from folding in half right now. I'll have to see if I can find another solution. I might have to cut some parts off of the Firewall and weld them back on. I'll bring you back when I figure out a solution. So here's my solution. I cut this section out of here, and then I'll slide the Firewall back up and weld it back in. I also had to cut the top lip off of the Firewall, but there is a lip on this section here yet to weld to, so everything should be solid once I weld it back together. We'll see how it goes. So I've got the Firewall tacked in. I've just put a couple plug welds along the top here. I haven't done the sides yet because I'm going to wait until I get the heater channels in there to make sure everything lines up. To get this in here, I did have to cut the flange here down a little bit to get it to fit, and I had to cut the bottom flange. This is an aftermarket Brazilian made one, and it doesn't fit very good, so I made it fit. And for those wondering how I got that in there with the pan still on, I did loosen up all the pan bolts, and then I strapped the pan to the lift and then jacked the body up just enough so I could fit the Firewall in between here, and then just kind of slid it in from the side. Next on the list, I'm going to put the front end together so the car can roll again. To do that, I'm going to put it on a stand to make it a little bit easier to disassemble. And to get it on the stand, I've chained the front end to the lift so I can lift it up and get it on the stand. I've never done this before, but I measured everything up and it should work, so we'll see how it goes. There it is, all hooked up, ready to go. So here's what I did. I've got some 6-inch bolts I overestimated there. Probably could have got away with 4.5 or 5-inch bolts. Back here I've got 4 half-inch bolts as spacers. On the top I've got 3/8 bolts. Bottom I got 5/16 because it doesn't quite fit, so I wanted a little more play on the bottom there. And in hindsight, I probably would have put it on the other way, and then I could have used even shorter bolts yet because the weight is towards the back. So I had to throw a couple tires on the front here to balance it out. If I would have flipped it around so the drums are on this side, the weight would have been pulling it forward and I wouldn't have needed to do that. Now it's time to tear it apart. So I got the front beam all tore apart. well, everything except for the torsion bars. I'm going to leave them in there until I need to use them because they'll get a greasy mess everywhere. So I'm going to put everything into this NOS beam that I have. It's a Brazilian beam. Just to show you how old it is, the COD price was $52 and shipping UPS was $7.30. I'm going to install this on the car first so I don't have to try to lift a completely assembled beam onto the car. And it's not going to be that difficult to assemble it on the car, so we'll do that. But first I've got to clean all these parts up and maybe put a coat of paint on them, and then I'll start the assembly. I'm just going to give you a quick reminder here of why I'm replacing the front beam. You can see the shock towers rotted out there. Pretty much rusted out there. They've got these supports welded in here, and because of those I couldn't get a tow bar on here to tow it home, so I had to use a tow dolly. And then got a big hole right there. So that beam is pretty much scrap, or I guess I could use it for a narrowed beam with custom shock towers, but it's not going in this car. Alright, so I've got my bolts soaking in this milkstone remover. I get it at the local farm store, Fleet Farm. It's 56% phosphoric acid, so it does a pretty good job of getting rid of the rust. It's also got surfactants in it, which helps with grease too, so if your bolts are a little greasy, it'll clean the grease off of them too. Here they are, all rinsed off. I just rinsed them off with water. I should have taken a before video, but you can see that there's no rust on these. These were pretty rusty. It's not going to take the big chunks off, so you got to scrape those off, but it'll take most of it off. So I picked up a set of NOS Sachs oil shocks for the front here. If you're installing OEM style shocks, it's going to be a little different than just aftermarket shocks, because this doesn't work with the front beam by itself. What you need to do is get this here bump stop assembly here. So you take this, then you pull the bump stop off. You need to put the dust boot on there too, and then you slide that on here, and then there's a little flat on the shock here, and you thread it in, and you either use a big adjustable wrench or you stick it in a vise and then you tighten it down there, and then this is the part that mounts to the front beam in between these two bushings. I've got the front beam assembled now. It's all painted up. I decided to go with disc brakes in the front because I plan on driving the car a lot, and good brakes are good to have. I did go with the stock height spindles because when I'm driving around, I tend to drive around on dirt roads, gravel roads occasionally, so stock height is good for that. I'll show you what I used for the paint. I used this Rust-Oleum 9100 system DTM epoxy mastic. It's a whole lot cheaper than POR 15, but the one disadvantage is it's a two-part epoxy, so you got to mix it, but it's 50-50 mix, so it's not real hard to figure out. And also because it's a two-part epoxy, it has a longer shelf life than POR 15, as you can tell by how beat up these cans are. I've had these for a while. Now it might not be a good deal if you're only doing one car, but if you're doing a bunch of cars, it comes out significantly cheaper. Now I just got to get some rotors on here and the car's a roller again. I'll just give you a close-up here of how everything turned out. I've got the NOS shocks on here with the original dust boots. disc brake spindles. Then I painted just the frame head because I still need to put pans in there. So I stopped right here. So I stopped right here. I'll paint the rest of it once I get the pans in there. But it turned out pretty decent. And here's a close-up of that Rust-Oleum. Now the one thing I don't like about this is it's a little bit too glossy. But according to their literature, the marine activator is a little less glossy, so I'll try that out next time. But that's going to be a while. All right, I got the front rollers installed. Now I just got to put the tires on, and it's a roller. I haven't put the calipers on, but I'm going to wait until I get the floor pans put in so I can run a new line all the way to the back and do all the brakes at the same time. So if you want to see that, remember to subscribe, hit the like button, comment below, and share the video. I'll catch you on the next one.